Yeah, I'm so proud, for our players, so happy for our fan base, and it was a wonderful job that our staff did, our support staff. Time flies. It's amazing. It's a year, that I had my press conference in the pavilion, and just how quickly that it goes. And like I said, for a team that finished last and maybe lost 13 out of 14, picked last, and then to kind of, to do what they did, as an 8th seed, and the body of work that happened at Ole Miss. I'm so happy for TD and DC and Bruce as seniors, and Bree and Devontae, Dom, those guys that came back. And so it's a terrific day for Ole Miss basketball. We're going to play an unbelievably well-coached team. Lon's been there a lot of times. Oklahoma will be just like a really good SEC team that they will play. I'm sure they're probably like us. They've seen us play a little bit on TV, but we'll dive into it tonight and tomorrow. And to go back into the SEC footprint, I think is great. That hope we'll have a lot of Ole Miss Rebels in Columbia on Friday night.
Did you go into the day kind of expecting to be in that 8-9 thing, or what was kind of your expectations?
Yeah, I just, as you went through the weekend and you just never saw our name. Which that's a good feeling this time of the year where you just don't see it. They're talking about, usually the 1st or 2nd seeds or the bubble teams. And so, I thought that we were safely in, and I did. I thought 8 or 9, 8 or 9, and it really doesn't matter, would you going to play the same team if you happen to be fortunate enough to win. So it was about kind of exactly what we expected.
You've been talking to Terrence and Brian about this and getting to this point, to finally have it happen, to see them get to experience it. How special was that just to share that with them? Yeah,
it's just, they told me thank you. And, and I said, no, it's a big thank you back. And so that makes you feel good that you're a part of an experience that those two guys have been waiting on, and they've worked really, really hard for. And two guys that really love Ole Miss. And so that was really fun to see. And it's always fun when you got your fans there and your players right there, and then you'll have good preparation. But what's fun is when you get to the city, the tournament site, and then you can really start feeling it, and the anticipation of playing, their open practices and all that. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Obviously, no one on this team's played in the tournament before. What do you tell them preparation-wise to get ready for a game like this?
Yeah, well, you're just going to play a team that gets good. You're going to play a team that's good, that's won, that's going to be well coached. So that's number one. It'll be just like an SEC, a good SEC game. But number two, just be who we are, and it still leads up to preparation for there. You can't skip to the games. You've got to do a great job on. Now we get an extra day on Friday. So we'll go really, really light tomorrow. We're just going to come to the pavilion, do some shooting, and then we'll kind of dive into Oklahoma. But you'll have a good amount of time, But you still got to go through that same preparation, but keep these guys really, really fresh-minded and anxious to play on Friday.
Coach, you knew it was coming, but describe that feeling when you saw Ole Miss pop up there.
Yeah, it's just it never gets old. It never does. It's just. This is the 3rd different team that I've been involved with, Idaho and Middle Tennessee and now at Ole Miss, and it just never changes. That was the biggest screen I've ever seen our name pop up on, so that was pretty cool. But it never changes, it never gets old, and it was just a great experience. And like I said, just to have an Ole Miss fan base that was so eager, and just think this is only the 9th time in the history of the school, so it's not that many times. And so, it's something that like we hope, and Ross and I talked about in our interview, that you're in a position to where you've worked like crazy, and that you know that you have a chance to be in the tournament. You have a chance to be in before selection Sunday comes.
Kermit, given that history, do you sense that the fan base is surprised to be here right now, and did you expect this the first season?
I don't know if you ever say expected, but it was sure our goal, Parrish. It was exactly our goal. It wasn't just I said it in the press conference for coach speak and make it look good for TD. I meant it. And I guess, we've just hate to sound egotistical, but we've won a lot of games over the last 8 or 9, 10 years. So I guess if you get used to winning a little bit, you kind of expect it that's going to happen. And, and so as we got into our team, we thought we could have a chance to be a good team. The only thing that scared me was just how darn good the SEC is. But with that, like we've talked about, with how good it is, the competition's good, but you don't have to win the championship. You can be a really, really good team with a good net and have good quality wins, and our team was rewarded because of it.
Kermit, I know this week you're going to be focused on Oklahoma and the now, but what can this do for the the near future of your program? What does this do for the recruiting trail?
Oh, it's unbelievable for recruiting. I mean, not only you just think about what's happened with, the fan base growing, sellouts, national TV, and how it looked on TV, and we were already seeing a pop in 2020s, and we can see that happening for sure. And I just think that now you get your name in the tournament, then you got to play really well, but all of a sudden you start having success in the tournament. That's when you really start getting your brand out there, and so there's going to be nothing but a lot of positives for recruiting.
You mentioned how in the middle you lived life on the bubble. This team didn't have to win the championship, and you're in safely. What kind of different experience is that for you, just as a coach?
It's like an out-of-body experience. And I was still a little nervous because I just never been used to it. I hadn't been used to it. It's just one of those things that if you got in that large bid, you were just white-knuckling, like Belmont. Belmont saw that name came up, and it was just like the greatest thing in the world. So, it's pretty nice to be in a league that this well thought of, and you can look at your body of work, and you get this many opportunities to beat really, really good teams.
Is there any advantage or comfort that comes from playing in an arena that you've already played in this season?
I think that it's comfortable because we've been in Columbia. Sure, we'll stay probably at a different hotel. I think it helps. It can't hurt. So I think it helps. And so the shooting background is a big arena. It's a big kind of a arena with kind of sight lines that are really wide. And so it won't determine the game, but I think our guys will walk in that gym and just have a feeling that they've been there and they've shot balls in there before and played a game.
You mentioned the team struggling a year ago. How much did that start to SEC play and the hot start help you guys with confidence? Was there a particular point where you sensed the team thought this was a very real possibility?
I know it's but the very first game, the win at Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt played good. And it was just, for those guys, we talked so much about trying to win on the road in the SEC. I mean, that was one of our biggest things we talked about the very first week I got the job. I mean, can we go and be competitive with the SEC on the road? And to win that one, I think it just gave our guys a confidence level and even a more confidence in the staff and preparation and what we were doing, And so I thought that was probably we had a lot of great wins, but that was probably the biggest win in SEC play, just because it gave us that lift that we can go win on the road.
People talk a lot at this time of year just about how important experienced guard play is, and obviously you guys have two of the better ones in the conference, but how important is it, especially for TD in his senior year, just to go out this way?
Yeah, and to win games. I know he and Brian have a bad taste in their mouth from Nashville because they've had such a tremendous year and they've helped us win so many games. And, for those guys just to kind of really get similar looks after I went and watched the tape and just kind of shots they've made a bunch, and it just didn't go down. And even with that, both of them said, that, we still have this chance to win. So, usually you get two guards that good, those guys are going to redeem themselves, and I'm sure they'll play well in this tournament.
Along those lines, guards, backcourt, and whatnot, how do you feel about legs and depth right now?
Yep, we're going to, you got to have really, really fresh minds this week. We did it for a reason. Because we went Saturday, we went hard today for about an hour and 45 minutes, and we'll really back it off tomorrow just to kind of, just to do some free shooting. But you're right, you got to go there, number one, knock on wood, healthy, and just where your guys are anxious to come to the gym. They're going to be anxious to be in the tournament, but when they play, they got to feel right. And so that's a big, huge thing. And then none of the two tournament games that we won at Middle, I thought we handled it in a good sense to where those guys are really, really fresh come game day.
How was Bruce health-wise with the ankle?
He was fine. Look, I didn't know, and then when I asked him if he would come back in the game, I really thought he was going to. I just looked down the bench and I saw him. I said, "Is Bruce available?" And he said, "Yeah, coach." And so he had a little swelling, but he had absolutely no problem. He's practiced the last 2 days.
This time of year, you hear a lot about good tournament coaches. You, Lon, certainly qualify. What makes a good tournament coach?
Well, track record of winning some, and obviously Lon's going to a Final Four, and there's two Final Fours. He's taken Florida and Oklahoma to Final Fours, and so I just hope that the preparation of our team will, hopefully some of the tournament experience that we've had and how to handle this, what we talked about over the week will help. But like I said, you're going against a guy who has great experience and very well respected in our in our business.
In your experience, have you assigned an assistant to scout ahead a day or?
Yeah. We'll. Probably because Ronnie's always had the first-round games, and we beat Michigan State and Minnesota, so Ronnie will take Oklahoma, then we'll decide kind of with Virginia, and then the 16-16 game that Virginia will play. And so all the assistants will be assigned a team. And so it'll be all done in advance, and then obviously, if you're fortunate enough to win, then you'll have the the personal scout that you'll be able to see them play.
Anything else?
You haven't had a chance to dissect the bracket and all that yet, but do you have any big picture thoughts on what you can garner from the seeds and the net and all that stuff yet?
I don't, Neil. I'm telling you, I just kind of saw our name, and I saw Virginia, and I had to ask somebody what day we played. So I really don't. I'm gonna get the bracket and kind of take a look at it. But obviously, Oklahoma's the biggest deal, and then obviously, you got a team like Virginia who may be, they got beat in the tournament, but is as well coached and maybe played as well over the whole year as anybody in college basketball.
Anything else? All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming.